has 20 possible options to start a chess game. Each of the 8 pawns has 2 available squares, and each of the 2 knights has 2 available squares to them. So how do you pick an opening? Well, choose one of these 20 options, and you roll with it. You play it down the line. Let's go with e4, the most popular move in the database, followed up by e5, a very, very popular move, tried and true, a lot of history between these two. I'm going to go ahead and break into the center game, and instead of the burger variation this time, what I am going to give you is the pulse and attack, so that we just get the chance to take a look at something a little bit different here. This time, what we're going to see ultimately, though, is that it's the same type of stuff going on, right? Rook's still coming out to e8, bishop's going to c4 eventually, bishop d3 right now is what's looking really good, f4 is nice move, knight to f3 is looking not too bad in the future as well. This is pretty much the exact same stuff, right? So how do I just know this, though? How do I just know this? That's a great question. Let's go ahead and take a look at a very available resource within your own chess.com account now. This is the Opening Explorer on chess.com. In order to find that, you'll go to the Analysis tab, go down to Openings, and it'll look something like this. I have e4, all the d4s, some lessons, and you can go to all of the openings. Go to Explore Openings. This is essentially the database for all master games and all of your own games as well. So how do we use this unique and interesting tool? Pick a line, and you play down it, e4, e5. This is where beginners should be learning how to play, and this is very tried and true. There's a lot of history between these moves. For this video, we're going to be picking the 5th most popular option, d4, the center game, and we're going to play the top line here all the way through, and we're going to find out that this is the burger variation. Castles and castles. A lot of times, modern analysis will support a lot of the old theory from romantic openings, which is pretty cool. Now, rook to e8, bishop to c4, or queen to g3. Queen to g3 has a lot more frequency, but bishop c4 is what's in my prep. Now, I guess you could say that both of these moves would invite a move from the knights, I suppose. However, when we have disputes like this, though, we can just go ahead and check out the analysis, like I have in this tab pulled up here. We'll find out bishop c4 settles in as the strongest move in that position. So, d6 comes out next. This is our notation. We know what's coming next. I know what's coming next. Knight to h3, if I want to go there, that's going to be the Hahn variation. But I'm going to take this, and I'm going to write it down like we did before, and I'm going to memorize it. I'm going to write it down. You can take a picture, but you should probably write it down. I think that's a better way to commit it. And I'm going to memorize it. I'm going to repeat it over and over again until I get it right. And then after that, I am going to set it up over the board. I'm going to play it from black and white. And I'm going to go e4, e5, d4, e takes d4, queen takes d4, knight c6, queen e3, knight f6, knight c3, bishop b4, bishop d2, castles, castles, rook e8, bishop c4, d6. If you can't say it that fast, maybe you're not ready to play it, but you got all the time in the world. After you've worked all the way through that line and you feel comfortable in it, what you'll do is pick a different one. e4, e5, d4. Let's see what some more center game stuff looks like. E takes d4. Let's say we still play that one. Knight to f3. We can play that. This is the Kieseritzky variation. And then we just keep going. Knight to c6. Okay, we're going to take this notation down. Once we get to the end of it, takes knight f6. You can take, if you wanted to, wherever that line is, but we're going to play the top line first, right? We're on the second line of the third line. Or the third line of the second line, I guess. Let's take a look at a game where I crush with my opening prep. I played this game with 92% accuracy. I was so very well prepared. And so what we have to talk about with our openings too is this move came before this move normally does. So do I still move my queen to e3? No. The engine thinks that bishop to f4 was the best move in this position, and I probably should be thinking about finding that if this is ever to happen again. But keeping up with what my opening calls for, after this happens and then this happens, then I go here and get my knight out, right? So, it's the same thing, it's just in a different move order, essentially. We keep going, And see how it still shows the book moves? Because essentially it is the same position, just the move order is a little bit different. Rook e8, still the best move, and that is for the opening, by the way. Now here is very interesting that it does actually call me out on this inaccuracy here, even though this is what I play, this is what I do believe in. It thought that kicking the bishop is better now, and I will commit that to memory. I will remember that for the rest of eternity, that instead of bishop c4, maybe I should be thinking about a3. So rook e8, still the best move. Apparently h4, the double push, is a little bit weaker than just h3, which is good to know. I've always saw that move as rather potent as well, because opposite side castles, what do we know about that? This is going to be just a devastating battlefield, right? Our fronts are different, so the field, the battlefield, the squares of challenge look different. Just the nature of that. This is the best move. This is where it gets into literally everything that I want, right? Like, I go and I play two insanely good moves, two only moves in this situation. And then I play another one immediately after. Now, here's where I get a little bit of tunnel vision and maybe just a little bit too cocky in what I think I know about this position overall. I'm totally winning here. This was an inaccuracy, even though my best move was now simply here. Watch, instead of just taking, because I just win a piece, right? I push the pawn. I want to unblock this because I know what's coming. I feel like I know what's coming. They take, they move, and then I take, and then that was the best move, of course, because it obstructs. I'm pointing at it like you can see what my fingers are pointing at. You can see, you know, this is exactly what I want. Look at my positioning. I'm going to take here. Obviously, that is the best move. And now that knight pretty much cannot move, right? Oh, okay. Oops. So instead of taking back first, I go here. Now my rook is on the 6th rank, and it is blocking pretty much the push of the pawns, and I'm threatening to take here. I take, and they just completely lose track of the game. Mate is on the board. It is unavoidable. They pushed the wrong pawn. We go here. Things still aren't looking the greatest. I've got to go to g3. I've got to save my rook. But that was not what was played. And I find another only move, forcing a sequence. Mate is on the board, and I win it. 92% accuracy. I was never uncomfortable during that entire game. I devastated the entire time, and that's what happens if you are just very comfortable with your opening, and you've studied it past into what you know, what your opening looks like after the opening, into the middle games. What does the middle game prompt from the opening that you played, and then what does an end game kind of look like sometimes? I know all that stuff. I know what I'm fighting for. I know I'm fighting for this square here and this square here. My queen's alignment with this dark colored bishop is like pretty important to the way that I play the center game in the long run. So you should figure that out for your stuff and play it over and over and over again.
You know how Tyler 1 is grinding chess like the world has never seen before? How he was grinding the same opening over and over again until he gets it right. Do you know the amount of analysis and game review that takes to improve like that? But you can do that. I believe in you, and I will it upon you. You will master your chess openings. If you want to see this in more depth, take a look at Pattern Recognition Episode 1. I'll see you punks later. As always, happy chess.